Yo, what's going on guys, it's Anime1 back here with another video, and today I'm here with another part of What If Naruto was banished and had awakened the secret power. So if you guys like the content in the channel, please subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Also like this video, so let's begin the video. It's gonna be a 5-year time skip that we're gonna start with after the last part that we left off with Agami, which he has identity being revealed and a little bit information about him. So let's start this what if with three figures were standing at a graveyard, looking down at a gravestone that read Shanks Uzumaki. Died at the age of 89. Well, one of the figures was fairly tall, 5'11" to be exact, and he was wearing a black cloak with a black cloak with a white shirt that opened up in his chest, and also a black pants. He had also a sword strapped at his waist, and he had red spiky hair. He had blue eyes as well. One of his eyes had 3 scars in them, showing like someone had really injured his eye during that moment. But the figure that was at his left side, she was a beautiful woman with red hair and red eyes. She looked like she was in her 30s, but actually she was in her 80s. Her name was Samantha, the wife of Shanks, a great medical ninja that managed to cure Izumi's illness. But she couldn't find a cure to her husband's illness. It was just that Shanks' body could not cope up with dark release, even if Shanks had mastered it to the extent that it was terrifying, and Shanks was revealed as the most notorious criminal in existence. It still didn't matter because his body just couldn't cope up with it. If he was not an Uzumaki, Shanks would have died only after 5 years of awakening dark release because the thing was so toxicating in his body. Only reason that Naruto didn't have any side effects was because he had the QB inside of him. Any bad things that were happening to him because of dark release would be instantly healed by the QB. So Naruto was pretty much immune to the bad effects or the side effects of dark release. Yet, you could say that. The woman that was standing right at the right side of Naruto had jet black hair. And also, she had black eyes, and her beauty was captivating. Her beauty was captivating. She was wearing a navy skirt and also a black blouse, which showed off her figure quite well. Her name was Izumi Uchiha. She looked at Naruto. It's been 1 year since Shanks died, she said. Naruto smiled as he looked up at the sky. I know, it's tough at some times due to the memories that I've had with him. He was like a father that I never had. But everything must come to an end. I've gotten over it. It hurts, but not as much as before. I can live. It's when you lose people dear to you, it leaves a permanent scar that can never be cured. All you can do is move on and hope for the best. That's what I'm doing right now. Samantha spoke. Well, that's to be expected. Shanks saw you as his own son, Naruto. He bestowed his sword to you, a sword that was passed down to him by the Uzumaki clan leader, sword that he held very precious to him, and he passed it down to you. That just shows how much Shanks believed in you and cared for you, and he left his goals to you. Naruto's face turned serious. Yes, I will not let Agami do whatever he wants. He will come to an end. But as of right now, I don't have any lock on his location. What do you think is gonna happen? The 3 great nations are making their move on one of the 3, said Izumi. Yes, I know that. They won't make their move on me. since I'm the strongest of the three, but the one who's the weakest, because since he's not in his prime and is fairly old, they probably will make their move on him," said Naruto. "You mean Yoroichi, don't you?" she said. Naruto gave him a nod. "I'll go and talk to him. It's been a while since I've met up with him, but it's gonna be hard to convince him to let go of his grudge against Sagami, but giving it a nice little talk, well, can be surprising sometimes, you know," Naruto said with a toothy grin. Izumi just shook her head. Naruto. Well, if you think you can convince him, go ahead and try." Naruto gave her a smile. "Of course I will. Samantha, Izumi, let's go." And Naruto said, as they were at the shore of an island where a huge ship was standing there. "Chief, you took longer than usual," said one of the men that were in the ship. "Well, I was, giving my gratitudes this time. I never did that, so let's go, guys," Naruto said, as they got up to the ship and the ship started sailing. In Konoha, Tsunade was not having the greatest time of all times. Why? Because he was dragged into this shit. She really didn't want to do this, but the trading offer was too good to be denied. The daimyo was forcing her. The daimyo of the Lightning Country and the Earth Country had came to the Fire daimyo with a deal. If Konoha supported this Kumo and Eva to wage war against one of the three emperors, they would open all trading barriers between all the three villages, and that was something that the Fire Daimyo could not deny. If that happened, Konoha's economy would be the best, the Fire Nation technology would skyrocket, and the money flow would be pretty goddamn good. The Fire Daimyo would probably be the richest man on Earth, which he probably already was, but humans always are. They don't have any limits to their greediness. So the Fire Daimyo had ordered Tsunade that they would be going to war against one of the three. They had already selected the target, but it was of a reason they needed to lure him out to fight this war. Just going up to and saying, Hey, Yoroichi, I want to fight a war with you. Let's go," was not a smart option. Their tradings would be stopped. They needed a valid reason. It would just make the world see that the emperors were at fault in this, not them. That was how politics worked. But what Tsunade really wondered was where this thought came from. Why did Ei and Onoki were so desperate on taking down all the emperors one by one? She honestly thought it was stupid. Well, because one of the reasons was the emperors were really fucking strong. She doubted that, well, one emperor only by himself, only one man could take on an army. The emperors were, well, above that level of a Kage, average Kage at least. And they were no joke, they were very fucking strong. But Yoroichi in his prime was a monster. He was even stronger than Hiruzen Sarutobi in his prime. He was said to be a god of shinobi, but Yoroichi was stronger than that man. So that said something. He was stronger than her sensei. That thought just made us shiver. The people in their prime were just, well, different. But then she remembered about the other emperor. The one that had been banished from the Hidden Leaf. Naruto Uzumaki. Well, Naruto had become an emperor fairly quickly, only last year from what she knew. It has only been a year since Naruto has been an emperor, but his accomplishments were terrifying. He was said to be the strongest of the three, And that was the reason that the elemental nations didn't want to go after Naruto first. They wanted to boost their army even more before they fought Red Hair. That was the name that Naruto was given in the bingo books. He had the highest bounty to ever known to mankind, even higher than her grandfather. She shook her head on that thought. Naruto had become strong, and he was able to protect himself. And hopefully he was happy. That's all she wanted. But the fact was, she wanted him back in the leaf. As crazy as that sounds, and Naruto would probably not accept their offer anymore, since he had more political power than even Tsunade and the daimyo at the moment. So there was no need for Naruto to come back to the Hidden Leaf. But you remembered what happened a year ago. Well, Sasuke Uchiha had came back to the Hidden Leaf village, but he wasn't as vengeance-driven as before. She didn't know why, but when anyone talked bad about Izumi Uchiha, his big sister, he always got a little angry. Didn't the brat want to kill his older sister? That's why he left the village. What happened to Sasuke? She was also confused on that. Well, it is what it is. But Sasuke also seemed a little closed off when, Danzo came up to him and talked. He always seemed angry around the man. She didn't know why. But it was what it is. Sasuke was back, and he was a great asset in the military power of the Hidden Leaf village. He somehow had his Mangekyo Sharingan unlocked, and that was a huge power for him. But not only that, Sasuke had the internal Mangekyo. That again surprised her. Just where the hell did all this shit come from? What happened in this 5 years? Tsunade didn't know. Neither would she ever know, because some things are meant to be kept secret. In the land of seas, a huge man, at least 7 feet tall, was sitting on his sofa and drinking, you all guessed it, booze. As he was drinking booze, as a man appeared behind him. A man had blonde, spiky hair and blue eyes. As the 7 feet man looked at the man, he reminded him so much of that yellow flash brat. What was his name again? Oh yeah, Minato. He looked exactly like that brat, but it was not possible. He and the Marco and that brat Minato were the same age, so it was impossible that the brat was, his son, or Marco was that brat's son. That was simply impossible. And Yoroichi knew for a fact that there was only one son that the yellow flash of the leaf had, and he was now one of the 3 emperors, the same rank as him. It just made him smile thinking about that brat. That look in his eyes, the charisma, the motivation, the emperor's spirit. That brat was a true definition of what a true emperor was. The one who could lead others to success. He looked at his right-hand man. What is it, Marco? He said, well, Red Hair wants to have a meeting with you, said Marco. Speaking of the devil, I was just thinking about that brat. Very well, let him come. I hope he has brought some good booze in, said Yorichi, as he was a tall man, 7 foot. He had a white beard and a white mustache. His eyes were a complete blue color, and his hair was white in color that fall down as it was like his bangs. The man didn't look that old. It looked like he was in his late 50s at max, but in reality, he was in his 70s. He was currently 73 years old, way past his prime years, but that didn't mean the man was not strong. He was given the title of the emperor for a reason, and many people knew that. Even in a snap of his finger, more than 6,000 men were ready for a battle, a power-hungry battle. The emperors were not only given their name for their individual strength, they were given their name because of the influence they had, the army they had, and what effect they had on the world itself. That was why they were given the title of something as big as emperors, for a reason. As as in the top of the man's castle, two men were looking at the ship that was coming towards them. It was red in color. That's him. That's Naruto's ship, alright. Inform the old man about this. Red here is coming. Said the other one. I'll say it at once. Once the man came out. Hey, Pops, he said. What is it? Well, Red here is coming, and he's almost here, said that man. Well. I hope you have brought some good booze and brat. It's been a long time since I met you. 2 years ago. No, it was 1 year, Pops, said Marco with a sigh, as Yoruichi snapped the string. Yes, 1 year. That was when he became an emperor. Yeah, I remember it now, he said. Marco shook his head. Pops, your memory is getting worse and worse every single day, he said. Well, what do you expect? I'm an old man. It's expected. At some age, maybe in my late 80s, I'll even forget that I have you by my side, Marco, he said with a laugh. Marco just smiled. Well, I hope that day like that never comes, but it's inevitable, so it might happen. Hey, do you feel it? Said the left-hand man of Yoruichi. Yeah, he is coming, alright. The weak ones, go back. Go inside, otherwise it's gonna be ugly. Said Marco. What do you mean it's gonna be ugly? I mean you're gonna get knocked the fuck out. You cannot stand in the man's presence. Dark Release is a nasty ass Kekigenkai, said Marco. What do you mean? But before the man could complete his sentence, he was knocked out. It's already happened. There's no use anymore, said Marco. As outside the castle, a red-haired figure was entering the castle. As each step he took, members of Yoruichi's crew were getting knocked out. What the hell is happening? Don't worry, they're only getting knocked out, said Marco. Yeah, if you are not above tuning level in chakra system, you cannot stand up to that man. His presence by itself is strong. But what is this ability to knock others out only with their presence? It's Dark Release, alright. It's, as I said, a nasty Kekigenkai. The brat has mastered it to an extent that even Shanks could not. Shanks could use this ability, but not to the extent that the brat can. It's terrifying, to say the least. He imposes his dark will upon others. If you can take it, then fine, you're fine. But most people can't, and that's when things get ugly. They get knocked out. Foam coming out of their mouth, and they don't wake up for a while, said Marco, as the other one that was beside him nodded. Yes, said Jugo, the left-hand man of Yoruichi. As Naruto was entering, he had a large bottle that was strapped to his back, as everyone that was beside him was getting knocked out. Half of Yoruichi's crew was knocked the fuck out as Naruto appeared in front of Yoruichi. Sorry for the intrusion. I am sorry for being a little rude to you, but you can never be too, careful at enemy territory, said Naruto with a playful smile. Yoruichi just looked at the brat. Well, that's some control over a Kekigenkai you have over there. I can't even remember Shanks having such a strong presence. You have definitely surpassed him. You'd be proud and bragging about you if he was alive right now, but unfortunately, he is not. So, what are you here for? Said Yorichi. I'm only here to talk. Nothing more, nothing less. Or have a meeting with you. A nice little reunion, a chit chat. Well, you don't mind now, do you? Fire Fist, said Naruto with a smirk. You're saying that after knocking out half of my crew, but I guess it's fine. Hey, Marco, say the others to leave us alone. If the brat wants to have a private talk, so be it, said Yorichi as Marco gave him a nod, as most of them left the castle. So Naruto passed the booze that was beside that he brought to uh, Yorichi as he poured some down for himself. This booze, it's from Man Miyaboku. I really like it. It's my favorite. I hope you enjoy it. Please give it a try, said Naruto with a grin, as Yorichi just looked at the brat and smiled. Well, might as well do it, he said as he started drinking. I see why Jiraiya likes this so much, and you too. It really is something, isn't it? He said, as he took a little hiccup because he was getting a little drunk. Well, those times, Hiruzen, Agami, and the leader of the Uzumaki clan, Hamu, Mifune, and so many others. Those were the times. I never forget. Hiruzen Sarutobi, that man was the only man that rivaled me to some extent. But still, who never defeated me. I still did enjoy battling with him. He was one of a kind. And those three brats of his, who would have thought that all three of them would turn out to be such great shinobi? Not all three of them, one of them as well, said Naruto as he didn't want to complete the sentence. Well, yeah, you're right about that. One of them didn't turn out too good. He became, what, a notorious criminal, but so was Jinx, in the eyes of the world at least. But Orochimaru, even knowing him personally, he is a bad guy, dissecting people for his own good. Yeah, that's something that Shanks would never do. Shanks only did what he did for the sake of other people, and especially for the sake of his clan, to stop Agami from getting his power back. But unfortunately, he is not here. You're taking on that role now, aren't you? Said Yorichi. Naruto gave him a nod. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's only natural that you'll start forgetting about something about your times. It's only natural. Said Naruto. You have turned out to be quite great as well. Who would have thought the scrawny brat that I met 4 years ago would turn out to be a beast in his own right? A monster, even, I would say. Said Yorichi as Naruto smirked. Well, that's nice and all, but this, said Naruto as he pointed at his right eye, that had 3 scars in them. You know who gave this to me. It wasn't a full skirmish with Kaido or anything. It was one of your crewmates that had given me this. That left your crew 10 years ago. You remember, don't you? Said Naruto, as the man gave him a slight glare. How can I forget? Agami. Who would have thought that a brat would be over 100 years old Uchiha, ancient one at that? Said Yorichi. Yes, he even killed your wife, said Naruto, as Yorichi narrowed his eyes at the brat. What are you getting at? What are you? Why are you here? Said Yorichi. Well, it's obvious. It's obvious that he's gonna come for you. Your position, your power, your influence, one day. And when that happens, You know better than I. It won't take long before he recovers his full power, and if that happens, you know better than anyone else, Yoriichi, no one will be able to stop him. Not me, not you, not the five great nations combining their strength, said Naruto, as Yoriichi narrowed his eyes at the boy. And what do you expect me to do, huh? Said Yoriichi. It's simple. I want you to stop your men searching for a Gami Uchiha all at once. It is foolish to go after him when you know the results are going to be the same. It's like he's plotting something. We must know why he's plotting, but in a discreet way. The way that you're doing him is declaring outright war on him. He might take advantage of the situation, and he has the Akatsuki backing him up. Even if Izumi and Kisame are dead, that's all there's to it. They've only lost 2 new members, and Agami himself might join and fill that role up. Even without the power that he has right now, he's stronger than Izumi. Even only with his one of his Mangekyo Sharingan, that Kamui is a very strong ability, and you know that better than anyone else, don't you? This scar is a proof of that. That man had given me 2 years ago, said Naruto. As Yoriichi looked at him. Well, that is true. However, his hair shattered his eyes. As Yoriichi's blue eyes glared up at Naruto. I won't retract my man from tracking that bastard down. He is gonna die. My wife was like a mother to this entire crew. Even if you convince me to not go after him, brat, do you really think that you can convince the whole crew? No, you can't. Because they all have vengeance in their hearts. The vengeance that can only be cured after we kill that bastard once is for what he has done. One cannot live in this world without moral compass, and you're 200 years younger to be lecturing me right now. Get lost, said Yoriichi as he threw the bottle towards Naruto. Naruto's eyes were now black. Well, his hair was shadowing his eyes as Naruto took the glass and drank his part of the booze as he stood up. As Yoriichi narrowed his eyes at the boy, no one can stop what's about to come. The new era will change the world, said Naruto as he unsheathed his sword. Yoriichi stood up as fire surrounded his fist. Nothing scares me because I am the fire god, Yoriichi, said Yoriichi as Naruto's sword was covered in a black aura as they both clashed. When they did, a huge shockwave went off. Morgo and the others had to put their hand up in a blocking position. Here they go again. The same thing happened a year ago, said Morgo as he with a sigh. Izumi, Samantha, and the others that were in the ship decide as well. And man, oh man, this is fucking disappointing. Chief really likes to stir things up, doesn't he? Said one of the crewmates that were there. Yes, indeed he does. But look at the sky, said Samantha. No, the heavens have split apart. She said, as when you look up at the sky, the clouds were parted, as it looked like the heavens had split apart where the both warriors had clashed. Meanwhile, in Kumo, the Raikage was sitting at his desk as he was looking at the papers in his hand. He was not thinking rationally. A swirling vortex came inside his office. As the Raikage looked at the figure that was in front of him. Well, how are things going? Said the masked man, his single Sharingan looking at the Raikage. It's going well. As according to the plan. Everything will be going smoothly, sir, he said. Good, said the masked man as he looked at the village outside. I'll make sure that my powers return. Naruto Uzumaki, you might you might be able to evade this for long, but how long will it keep on avoiding this? Humans will cause war, and that when that happens, it's only a matter of time when my powers recover completely, said Gami as he looked at Kumo, and then he looked back at the Raikage. Well, if the preparations are going right, and we wage war against Yoroichi, most of my power, at least 70%, should come back, said the masked man as Raikage gave him a nod. It looked like the Raikage didn't have any control over himself. Agami thought. My Genjutsu has the level of Kodo Matsukami up to some extent. The Raikage doesn't even know that he's being controlled, but at the same time, he is being controlled. He is completely a puppet to my will. If I could control a perfect Jinchuriki, like Yagura, someone like the Raikage has nothing. Thought Agami as he started vanishing in a strolling vortex. He appeared inside the Shichikage's office at the Stone Village. As he looked at the old fool, well, how are the preparations going? He has the same question as he did to the Raikage. Onoki actually had a little disappointed look on his face. Our armies are being mobilized, but I don't think I'm gonna send all of them, said Onoki. The masked man had a puzzled look on his face. Why? Said Agami. Because I want some of my men to be alive after this. If you're going a war against Yoroichi, I can guarantee you it's not gonna be an easy one. I have fought the man, and I know how he fights, how he operates, and how deadly he is when it comes to his people. If we dare to do what we are about to do right now, we're inviting hellfire upon us, said Onoki with a serious look on his face. Agami started chuckling. Don't you think I know that? But even someone like Yorichi cannot mask the power of three great nations combining their strength. It is just simply not possible. The way it's supposed to be and the way it's supposed to go, it will always go like that. Humans, even if you don't wage a war right now, war will eventually happen. And then I will regain back my strength. This war is going to be larger than the other ones. Only in one day, much killing and hatred is going to be spread. Just like the Third Great Shinobi War, when I recovered more than 30% of my power at the same day, just because of Minato Namikaze had slaughtered so many. Because of that alone, I recovered 30% of my power, 0 to 30. That's a good ratio. And if something like that happens again, 70% to 60%, it's actually confirmed. When that happens, well, I'll be at Red Hair's level, said Yorichi as said Agami as he clenched his fist. That bastard has gotten stronger than even Shanks was, and yet Shanks was, well, a terrifying foe to go up against. He killed Kisame in just one blow, and Izumi, he took care of her like she was nothing. But that red hair, he has gotten stronger than Shanks was. Izumi has gotten EMS, and Jiraiya of the Sunny, and he has perfected his Sage mode. Because of that, those three are the greatest threats that I have right now. And once they are cleared up, everything will go according to plan. And once I recover my power, this world will crawl beneath my feet, said Agami, as he was also controlling Onoki with his Genjutsu. Tsunade was a little difficult for him. Well, the reason you may ask. Well, Tsunade had perfect chakra control. So even a Genjutsu up to a level like Koda Matsukami would be bad, not mentioning her attitude. She was a pacifist, much like the other Hokage that were before her, so people would not be happy with the decision that she was taking. So forcing her by her own will was the great option that Agami had taken, and he was sure that it would work. There was no way that the daimyo was able to resist this offer that the Earth daimyo and the lightning daimyo had given him. It was only a matter of time before Agami Uchiha was back in action with all his power. And once that happened, no one would be able to stop him. And Agami knew that.